Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Jayataha.
The following humble presentation is dedicated to our beloved Srila Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Most of the interviews were recorded in Sri Vrindavan Dham during Kartik 2017 and 2018, and in Sri Navadvip Dham on Gopurnima Day in 2018. It progressively illustrates the highest goal of the Gauḍīya Sampradaya.
That the mission of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Śrīla Prabhupada, and after that Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada. What was their mission? Same mission. And myself also have come for the preaching this same mission.
In 1920, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada established the Gauḍīya Math to guide the world into the teachings of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Protected within that institution, at its very core, lay the pristine jewel that is unique to the Brahma, Madhva, Gauḍīya Sampradaya that Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī had established in this world. Widespread exploitation of the Sampradaya's esoteric tenets had urged Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Thakur to powerfully dismantle all misconceptions and malpractices that were flourishing in the name of Gauḍīya. Through the Gauḍīya Math, Śrīla Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada carried on this work with the same vigor. What looked like a different form of Gauḍīya Vaishnavism was in fact a resurgence of its pure message. For the first time, the organized distribution of Mahaprabhu's teachings swept India, and later, the entire world. With proper conceptions and practices established, and a strong framework in place, the time was ripe to bring into focus the jewel of the Gauḍīya conceptions, shining within the noble Saraswat lineage.
Gauḍīya Vedanta Films, in conjunction with Gauḍīya Vedanta Publications, presents The Gift of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, a journey through the fourfold purpose of his advent, as taught by Śrī Srimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja.
It was 1946, and the Gauḍīya Math had been bereft of its founder ācārya for nearly 10 years. A series of skirmishes between certain factions fragmented this once unified movement. Some lost hope and returned to their homes, keeping their beloved Gurudev's teachings in their heart. Some became allured by the very philosophies they had previously combated. And some disciples continued to dynamically spread his mission, often establishing their own maths for this purpose. A society in which pure Vaishnavas are present never stagnates, and soon the mission of Śrīla Saraswati Thakur recovered its momentum. The original math's offshoots reached ever new lands. Prominent among these disciples was Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswāmī Mahārāja. Even in a country blessed by the touch of Sri Bhagavan's lotus feet, he was compelled to battle the forces of Mayavad. He did this powerfully, while imparting profound insights into Gauḍīya conceptions. The grateful Vaishnav community lauded his efforts. He had received sannyas in 1941 from his revered godbrother, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswāmī Mahārāja. So in this year of 1946, Śrīman Nārayaṇ Tiwari, having met a disciple of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur and feeling called to dedicate his life to Mahaprabhu's mission, abandoned all material ties and journeyed to Sri Navadvip Dham to take complete shelter at the lotus feet of his eternal master, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja. In 1952, his Gurudev awarded him, along with two esteemed godbrothers, sannyas. They became, in order of seniority, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Vaman Mahārāja, Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Mahārāja, and Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Mahārāja. They shared a profound lifelong friendship in the service of their Gurudev. In 1959, Śrīla Nārayaṇa Goswami Mahārāja assisted his Gurudev with a momentous sannyas ceremony. His Gurudev, Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja, gave sannyas to Sri Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu, whom Śrīla Nārayaṇa Goswami Mahārāja had met in 1947. Sri Abhay Charanaravinda Prabhu was given the name Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja. It was Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada who, just 6 years later, pioneered the worldwide preaching of Mahaprabhu's mission. From his early mat life, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārayaṇa Goswami Mahārāja also served other prominent disciples of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He traveled throughout India, presenting the teachings of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu which he had received from his Gurudev and the Gauḍīya Vaishnava ācāryas. Upon repeated requests from devotees overseas, he journeyed abroad. Between 1996 and 2010, he traveled the world more than 30 times, leading illuminating festivals of Harikatha and Kirtan.
Time and time again around the world, he would give the essential understanding of who Mahaprabhu is, what he came to give.
That whatever we heard from him, he always made the point that he was never presenting anything new or different from any of the other ācāryas in our line. To make sure we understood that this philosophy, the beauty and the integrity of it, is what our ācāryas have come to reveal and to preserve and maintain.
Following in the footsteps of Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja and Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he led the annual parikramas of Sri Navadvip Dham and Sri Brajamandal, guiding thousands of pilgrims into Mahaprabhu's sacred teachings. He translated over 60 Gauḍīya scriptures into Hindi, many with cherished commentaries by predecessor masters in this line, and sometimes penning his own illuminations. Most of these books have already been translated into English and numerous other languages, while the remainder are in process. He inaugurated the Rays of the Harmonist magazine, a name foretold by Śrīla Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who called it the Harmonist's child mouthpiece. In this magazine, articles by pure Gauḍīya Vaishnavas are rendered into English for the first time. Through classes, publications, darshans, morning walks, parikramas, artwork, and even through the drama plays that he inspired, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārayaṇa Goswami Mahārāja, referred to by his disciples and followers as Śrīla Gurudev, clarified the reasons for Sriman Mahaprabhu's descent, in particular, the jewel he came to give.
Śrī Krishna Caitanya Daya Karo Vichar.
By deliberating on the mercy of Śrī Krishna Caitanya, your heart will be filled with wonder. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 8:15.
We want to come to the subject, the main reasons that Krishna appeared in the form of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Oh, here very presently.
Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu came to this world primarily for two reasons of his own, and also with two gifts for the jivas. Because his most magnanimous gift for the jivas is the heart of this film, the following sequence culminates in this.
The 4 reasons for Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. The secondary reason of his own was to answer the call of Advaita Acharya. His secondary gift for the jivas was to establish the Yuga Dharma by bestowing Nama Prem. The primary reason of his own was to relish the moods of Sri Radha. His primary gift for the jivas was to bestow Rāgānuga Bhakti. To answer the call of Advaita Acharya, the secondary reason of his own.
Sri Krishna thought, "For a long time I have not bestowed Prem Bhakti upon the inhabitants of the universe. Without such bhakti, this world would cease to exist." Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 3:14. My partial expansions can establish the Yuga Dharma, but no one other than me can bestow Braj Prem. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 3:26.
Advaita Acharya, a very intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he came before Lord Chaitanya. He was thinking that how can I make him advent? He found a verse in scripture, Tulasi Dalapatrena Jalasya Chulakenava, that the Supreme Lord, he's so grateful to devotees that if somebody worships him, just worships him with Ganga water and Tulasi leaves, he feels so indebted that he can only give himself to that devotee.
How he was worshipping? By heart he was crying and weeping and calling. This is the process of kirtan. Not only archan will do, but giving this and offering this Ganga Jal and Tulsi Manjari with Tulsi leaf. This calling is called kirtan, and that is why Krishna heard, and he decided that I must go immediately.
And at last, Lord Chaitanya appeared.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
To establish the Yuga Dharma by bestowing Nam Prem, his secondary gift for the jivas.
He came
to distribute this name and print with print. But he has told that name can be established by name Sankirtan by Mahāvishnu. But print he cannot do. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in this period, at the time of Yuga Dharma preaching, he told that also I will do. Yuga Dharma Nam Prachar also I will do. And this rare thing which anyone cannot give, that prem I will also give. So name goes. We should understand this fact, that prem will come through name preaching, Yuga Dharma.
He has given prem, but through name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When I saw the commentaries and explanation of Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, and especially of Jiva Gosvāmī, then I knew that why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken this name. Anyone can have the Dasya of Radhika if he will chant this name only.
To relish the moods of Sri Radha, the primary reason of his own.
In Krishna's Leela, in Dwapar Yuga, he tested mainly all the 5 kinds of rasas. Especially, he tested Gopism, Madhur Ras. But he was not satisfied by that. He wanted to know why Srimati Radhika tests me more than anyone, more than myself. Why she becomes mad for me? Why? How to test my beauty, my everything?
So Krishna came to taste her mood in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can see in Sri Shikshashtakam his revelations of this mood of prem or love and affection for Krishna while experiencing her moods. This is called Unata Ujvala Ras, the supreme, highest, most bright. Unata Ujvala means the topmost, brilliant rasa. That is her rasa.
Shri Krishna was thinking,
I have not fulfilled my 3 desires. Radhaya pranay mahima kiddisho va niraiva aswaddo janadvat madharima kiddisho va madiya shokhanchasya madan bhavata kiddisho vittilo tadbhavadra samajani sachi garva sindho harindo.
That he wants to taste the glory of Radha's love. that he wants to taste his own astonishing sweetness, and that he wants to relish the happiness that Radha experiences from receiving the sweetness of his love.
Intense greed to taste these three things arose within the heart of Sri Krishna, and to fulfill that desire, he took birth from the womb of Sri Shachi Devi, like the moon appearing from the ocean. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 1:6.
When Srila Gurudev explained it, you get such a sense of the beauty and sentiments of Mahaprabhu and how extraordinary it must be to take to the devotional path. It's so desirable and so wonderful that God himself wanted to take it up.
So if I will take the mood and beauty of Srimati Radhika, then I can test my soul.
So that verse, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva, this is written by Swarup Damodar Goswami. He was the chief authority after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he wrote these key verses that are used for the first chapters of Adi Lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the basis of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's presentation.
Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself Krishna. Krishna become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but not Krishna alone, plus Radharani.
Jadi Gaurang nahito tobe ki hoito kemone dhorito de Radhara mahima prema rasa sima Radhara mahima prema rasa sima jagate janato ke jagate janato ke to bestow Rāgānuga Bhakti, his primary gift for the jivas. Prema rasa nivyasa korite yashvada Raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharan Rasika shekhara Krishna parama karuna e dui hetu hoite icharur kama.
Marash Nityas Karite Ashwadam Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Karite Pracharan. Very important line. This is the essence of Chaitanya Chaitanya.
Prem Ras Niryasi. Krishna himself wanted to taste the essence of all Prem Ras. And that's clearly expanded upon in that chapter, 4th chapter. How he wanted to come with his eternal associates. And for what purpose? Rag Marg Bhakti Loke Korite Pracharan. To preach the pathway of Rag Marg Bhakti, not Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti had already been given in the previous yugas and in the various Vaishnava sampradayas. But Rag Marg Bhakti, leading to Braja Prem, was uniquely only given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates.
He had two desires, in fact, Prem Ras, Niryas, this slope. It says that Mahaprabhu came for two reasons. One is that he wanted to taste this Prem Ras. Secondly, he wanted to expand, he wanted to give devotional service, not normal devotional service, but devotional service based on spontaneous love, means Rāgmarg. So these are two reasons.
What is Rāgmarg?
Vedi marga rata jane swati nata ratnatane raga marge korano pravesha raga marge korano pravesha raga marge korano pravesha.
Bhakti are of two kinds. One is Vaidhi Bhakti and second is Rāgānuga Bhakti. First we should begin from Vaidhi Bhakti.
So there are two kinds of bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti and Rāgānuga Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti is that devotion which is impelled by faith in the revealed scriptures based on fear and duty. Rāgānuga Bhakti is that devotion which is impelled by a greed to follow any of the personal associates of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan, to follow in their footsteps.
Shri Krishna thought, aware of my divine majesty, the entire world worships me in a mood of awe and veneration. But love enfeebled by such reverence fails to attract me. If a person regards me as his Lord and himself as a subordinate, I do not become controlled by his love. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 4:17 and 4:18.
So that Rāgānuga Bhakti is described as being the only way through which a sadhak in this world can attain that Braja Prem, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give.
Vaidhi Bhakti Prem will lead you to Vaikuntha Dham, and Rāgānuga, it will take you to Krishna Dham. Highest stage will be achieved by Rāgānuga. You are lucky to come in the line of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu.
Those who come in the line of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu are fortunate because they have the opportunity to enter Rāgānuga Bhakti, which leads to the topmost section of Krishna Dham, Braja Gokul. Vaidhi Bhakti, in and of itself, does not lead to Rāgānuga. But those who sincerely practice Vaidhi Bhakti in the line of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu will eventually receive the qualification to enter Rāgānuga Bhakti. Such a transition comes through hearing from a pure Vaishnav who is practicing Rāgānuga Bhakti.
This Rāgānuga sadhan, it is something that's given from the heart of one who has this current of divine love coming through them, and by hearing from them, from hearing their Harikatha, some type of greed develops in you that, oh, I also would like to follow in this way.
To clearly understand Rāgānuga Bhakti that Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu came to give, it is necessary to first understand the meaning of Ragatmika and of Rag.
Principal Siddham, Nand Baba Jasoda Maiya, and especially in his Gopi, especially in Lalita Vishakha and Srimati Radhika. Rag means
love and affection by which they serve Krishna and they control Krishna. This is Rāga. In whom this Rāga is there, they are Rāgātmika.
Here Rupa Gosvāmī Pad Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu very clearly explained about Rāgātmik Jan and Rāgānuga Jan. Rāgātmik, that is called those eternal associates of Krishna. Krishna's Nitya Parikar.
The eternal associates of Krishna, who are called Rāgātmik Jan, their relationships, their exchanges of rasa with Krishna in the 5 primary rasas, particularly in Braj 4 rasas.
That is servitude, friendship, like Krishna's cowherd boyfriends, Vatsalya, which is parental mood, like Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, and Madhurya, like Srimati Radhika, Lalita Vishaka, Champaklata, Tungavidya, Sudevi, Rangadevi, and so many other millions of gopis.
Those exchanges with Krishna in Braj are on the platform of Rag. Rag means intense thirst, unquenchable thirst for the object of your love. And that Rāgātmik means those eternal associates, their bodies are made of this. Their very selves are non-different than their moods of love for Krishna.
Sri Krishna thought, I will relish the essence of all these rasas and thus bestow grace upon the devotees. Hearing about the pristine rag of the Brijbasis, the devotees will engage in loving devotional service to me in Rag Marg, leaving all customs of religiosity and fruitive action. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 4:32 and 33.
Mother Yashoda, Nanda, Subal, Siddham and Gopis. They are Rāgātmika, eternal associate in Golok Vaikuntha Dham. And those who follow them are Rāgānuga. Nowadays, many have idea that they have Rāgānuga Bhakti. Oh, very easily can tell with thousands of mouths. But really we should see and examine our hearts that any worldly desire, spot, any gandha, smell of any worldly desire is there in heart or not.
And by listening to Guru there all the years, then now little understanding is coming. Not fully, because I'm a Bada Jiva, I forget.
But if they hear about the goal from a Rasik Vaishnava, even in the very beginning stages, that is extremely beneficial. But it doesn't mean that now they're qualified to practice Rag Marg Bhakti. No. They have to take up the process.
Gurudev also preached how an ordinary sadhak, step by step, develop his bhajan and sadhan. That means how to enter Vaidhi Marga and then come to Rag Marga.
Rāgānuga sadhan can really only be practiced in the higher stages of bhakti. But by the mercy of one who is practicing Rāgānuga Bhakti, a person can develop a desire to practice it and truly yearn to serve Krishna like one of the Brajabasis.
Hearing from Srila Gurudev, he used to say, just like a very ugly, lame, poor, unqualified man, he may see Princess Diana go by and desire, I would like to marry her. No one can stop that desire. So in the same way, hearing of the glorious pastimes of the divine couple and hearing of the beauty of the conceptions of Rupa Gosvāmī and the Rūpānuga Guru and hearing of the divine aspirations of all those generals in that line from Srila Rupa Gosvāmī, some little desire came to us that I also would like to join this movement. I also would like to be in this family line. I also would like to one day have that aspiration.
The process to aspire for and enter Rāgānuga sadhan is explained by Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī in the following verse, which is said to be the essence of all instruction.
Tannāma rūpa charitādi sukirtanānu smrityo kramena rasanām manasi niyojya tisthana praje tadānurāgi janānugāmi kālam naye dakhilāmi ityupadesasāram.
While living in Braj as a follower of the eternal residents of Braj, who possess inherent spontaneous love for Sri Krishna, one should utilize all one's time by sequentially engaging the tongue and the mind in meticulous chanting and remembrance of Krishna's names, form, qualities, and pastimes. This is the essence of all instruction. Sri Upadeshamrita, verse 8.
Sometimes there is a misconception that Rāgānuga Bhakti is some kind of loose devotion in which one follows the whims of the mind and discards the scriptural regulations pertaining to Vaidhi Bhakti. In Rāg Vartma Chandrika, Śrīla Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that those who claim that Rāgānuga Bhakti is always beyond the different rules and regulations of the scriptures are reprehensible. Because they disregard the scriptural injunctions, such persons always experience disturbances and obstacles in their path of obtaining pure bhakti. The advanced devotee, who is inclined to spontaneous loving service, follows the activities of a particular associate of Krishna's in Vrindavan, and practices Rāgānuga Bhakti in two ways. In the sadhak roop, the external body in which they are situated, and in the siddha roop, their internal, self-realized form.
So very rare person devotees are of Rāgānuga. We are all among Vaidhi Bhakti. We should try to do Vaidhi Bhakti of Krishna, and by having so bhagya, fortune, we'll have the association of Rasic Vaishnava like Sukadeva Gosvāmī, Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī, Rupa Gosvāmī, Raghunath Das Gosvāmī, Bhaktivedānta Thakur and his line. Then they can come anyhow. A very little grief for this thing.
Rāg, the love that captivates Krishna. Rāgatmika, those who possess that Rāg. Rāgānuga, aspiring to attain that Rāg. In summary, all the inhabitants of Braj, including the Gopas, Gopis, cows, calves, animals, and birds, are Rāgatmika. Sadhaks, who follow the mood of these inhabitants of Braj in order to attain their bhav, are called Rāgānuga. Amongst these Rāgānuga sadhaks, only those who specifically follow the internal mood of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī are Rūpānuga. Thus, every Rūpānuga sadhak is also a Rāgānuga sadhak. But Rāgānuga sadhaks are not necessarily Rūpānuga.
What is Rūpānuga?
The present Krishna consciousness movement is also based on the authority of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhupada. We are therefore generally known as Rūpānugas, or followers in the footsteps of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhupada. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, Nectar of Devotion, Preface. Worship of Gauranga Mahaprabhu in the line of Rupa Goswami is indeed worship in separation from Shri Radha Krishna. This is topmost. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahāraja's Upadeshavali. All of you should enthusiastically preach together that Harikatha which is in accordance with the mood of Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Our ultimate aspiration is to become the dust of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas in the line of Sri Rupa Goswami. The final words of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada.
Śrī Caitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. That Rupa Goswami is that person who established the inner heart's desire, what he wanted to give. Rupa Goswami established that in this world. So we're offering our pranam again and again to Srila Rupa Goswami.
You are lucky, very lucky that you are all in the line of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Rupa Goswami. Hearing and hearing, attachment will come. A relation will come, very strong relation will come.
One of the common questions our Gurudev would ask us was, what is the difference between a Rāgānuga and a Rūpānuga?
All Rāgānuga are not Rūpānuga, but all Rūpānuga are really Rāgānuga too.
Srimati Radhika's maidservants are Rāgātmika because they're also eternal transcendental associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. However, the maidservants of Srimati Radhika have a particular mood, and they're following in the mood of Sri Rupa Manjari, who's the prominent or the leader of Srimati Radhika's maidservants. And so those who are following that particular line of Rāgātmika Bhakti under the guidance of Sri Rupa Manjari, who has manifested in this world to us as Sri Rupa Gosvāmī. Those who are following that particular form of Rāgātmika Bhakti, who are aspiring for that, they are known as Rūpānugas. So Rūpānuga is contained within Rāgānuga, but not all Rāgānuga is contained within Rūpānuga. So our Gurudev really wanted us to get this point very clearly.
The Rūpānugas know no other treasure than Sri Radhika's divine lotus feet. Sri Rūpānuga Bhajan Darpan by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, Song 14, verse 4.
Who are Rūpānuga? Those are actually following the mood of Rupa Goswami. So all ācāryas are Rūpānuga, not only Rāgānuga. So it is very, very important thing.
Śrī Rupa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada. Śrī Rupa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada. Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana. Sei Mora Bhajana Pujana.
Tavai vasmi najivan tuyabina iti bhikya radhe tangnayama macharanam.
When the conception of being a fully protected and maintained maidservant of Sri Vrishabhanu Nandini Shri Radha appears in our heart, then no other worldly identifications, which are all insignificant in comparison, can overpower it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupader Upadeshamrit. Devotees of Vishnu are Vaishnavas. Devotees of Krishna are Krishnas, and devotees of Śrī Radha are Gauḍīyas. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupader Upadeshamrit. In the song Dushtaman, Śrīla Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur has saved for us, in golden words, the essence of all teachings, so that we may attain service to Srimati Radharani, Radha Dasyam, in Parama Unata Ujjvala Ras, the supremely exalted and most radiant Ras. Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja, Śrī Gauḍīya Patrika, Year 1, Issue 11.
We cannot be Lalita Vishakha, we cannot be Radhika, we cannot be any one of them. We can be only the servant, maid servant of the gopis. And this is the highest thing for any conditional soul.
Padabjayostava vinavaradasameva.
O Devi Radhike, I never, at any moment, beg for anything but this most exalted service to your lotus feet. I offer pranam time and again, forever, to the mood of being your friend, but may I only truly relish the nectar of being your maidservant. Vilap Kusamanjali by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, verse 16.
Rup Goswami, Rup Manjari. He has a special service to Srimati Radhika, which is not in Lalita.
That verse, Anarpita Chirinchirat, our Gurudev explained, is really the essence of the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Anarpita Chirinchirat Karnaya Vatirna Kalau Samarapaitum Unnatajjal Sangsa Bhakti Sriyam Hariya Pura Sundar Dhyut Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hriday Kandare Skurutami Sachirandana.
May the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, Shri Gaurahari, forever manifest spontaneously within the innermost core of your heart. Adorned with the radiant splendor of molten gold, he has descended in the age of Kali out of his causeless compassion to bestow upon the world that which has not been given for an unimaginably long time, the beauty of his own brilliantly radiant Ujjvala Prem Ras Bhakti, service in the highest relationship of amorous love. Shri Vidagdha Madhav by Srila Rupa Goswami, 1-2, quoted in Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 1-4.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Krishna himself came, taking the mood and complexion of Radhika. Why? Why? To give what thing? Unnata Ujjvala Rasang Bhakti Sriyam.
Although he is giving Krishna prema to the world, it's a very particular kind of Krishna prema that he's endeavoring to awaken, especially through the medium of Rupa Goswami.
So this Unnata Ujjvala Rasa means Madhurya Rasa, and it means the topmost. So only Srimati Radhika's prem is in that category. It's not possible for the jivas to directly experience Srimati Radhika's prem because they don't have the constitutional position. But what he came to give, which Rupa Goswami wrote in that verse, is Unnata Ujjvala Rasa Swa Bhakti Shriyam. And that is specifically detailing the mood of Madhurya Rasa of the maid servants of Srimati Radhika.
So you should know this is Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, and the beauty of the kinkaris, the maid servant of Radhika. Mood is this.
Radha Rasarupa Krishna Prema Kalpalata Saki Gana Hoy Tar Palav Pushpa Pata.
By nature, Śrī Radha is like a wish-fulfilling vine of Krishna Prem, and the sakhis are the sprouts, flowers, and leaves on that vine. When the nectar of Krishna's pastimes is sprinkled on that vine, the sprouts, flowers, and leaves experience a happiness millions of times greater than if they were to be directly sprinkled with that nectar. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 8.209 and 2.10.
So, what is Svabhakti Shriyam? It means the moods of the maidservants, the beauty of the vine of love of God. Srimati Radhika is compared to the vine, and all the leaves and all the manjaris and the flowers on the vine are called the beauty, the Shriyam.
It is noteworthy that Srila Rupa Goswami and his foremost followers, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, and others, have expressed a yearning to attain the position of a maidservant of Srimati Radharani in numerous volumes of prose, poems, and songs.
That whole science is explained in Ujjvala Nilamani and many other literatures of the ācāryas.
Our aim and object is to be in the guidance of Room Manjari and to serve Radha and Krishna.
All are Krishna's own. Who is most nearest and dearest? Srimati Radhika. Svabhakti means her bhakti. Shriyam means beauty, means Shobha. What is her beauty of her bhakti? Is manjaris. That manjaris, they have so much intimacy with Radhika.
And they experience what Srimati Radhika is experiencing.
The actual form of Radharani is just like a creeper embracing the tree of Krishna, and the damsels of Braj, the associates of Radharani, are just like the leaves and flowers of that creeper. When a creeper embraces a tree, the leaves and flowers of the creeper automatically embrace it. Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Chapter 31, Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada.
It really only struck me when I heard it and actually read it in Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj's book, Sri Guru and His Grace, the last chapter.
So, Radha Dasyam, the servitorship of Srimati Radharani, is said to be the highest attainment of the living being by the school established by Mahaprabhu. Rūpānuga Rūpa Manjari. She is the leader of all the manjaris, and there the highest quality of union and ras is found. So Rūpānuga position, the most profitable position, has been given out by Mahaprabhu. That is the highest limit of your fortune. This has been shown. Beyond hope, our highest prospect lies there, in that subtle camp of Sri Rupa, Rupa Manjari, Rupa Goswami. So the Sampradaya of Mahaprabhu is known as the Rūpānuga Sampradaya. There is located our fate, our fortune. Excerpts from Sri Guru and His Grace, the Line of Sri Rupa, by Shri Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj.
वृषभानुसुता चरण सेवने होइब जे पाल्लदासी वृषभानुसुता चरण सेवने होइब जे पाल्लदासी शिरधार सतत साधने शिरधार रहिब आमी प्रयासे रहिब आमी प्रयासी राधार सतत साधने रहिब आमी प्रयासे रहिब आमी।
Anarpita Charin. It has been not given before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, prior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even Krishna came, Ramchandra came. Oh, even so many came. Jayadev Gosvāmī came. And so many, Madhvacharya, Rāmānuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbadita, all came. Even Hanuman came with Ramachandra. Even Sita came, Bharat came. So many came. Oh, anyone could not give this.
So Rupa Goswami is saying, this has not been given. Charim Chirat means has not been given for Chirat, very long, long time. And that long time period is billions and billions of years.
One day of Lord Brahma is said to last 1,000 Chaturyugas, or 4,320,000,000 years. In the 7th Manvantar, in the 28th Chaturyuga, at the end of the Dwapar Yuga, Krishna, the source of all avatars, appears. Approximately 4,500 years later, in the following Kali Yuga, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu appears. He is Krishna himself, come to relish the prem of Srimati Radhika and to give Rāgānuga Bhakti, which leads to Braj Vrindavan.
Only Krishna can give that, no one else. No other avatar, no Vishnu manifestations, no others can give what he can give. And he can only give this when he's in this golden form. Even when he's in his Krishna form, he doesn't freely give this. But when he comes combined with Srimati Radhika, then he can give this. If someone continues to read the books of Raghunath Das Goswami, Vilapa Kushamanjali, Utkalika Vallari of Srila Rupa Goswami, and many, many others, they will see they're always aspiring for this. This is their ultimate goal, is to relish and taste and be engaged eternally in the service of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and the divine couple, Radha and Krishna.
And that's what Krishna consciousness is. It's, as Prabhupada said, it's not an artificial imposition. It's a natural stirring in the heart to love and serve the divine couple and be part of their pastimes, which is what the Maha Mantra is. It's Radha and Krishna and trying to give pleasure in their service. This is the goal of the Krishna consciousness movement.
This Krishna consciousness movement is for approaching Radha Krishna, to be associated with the Supreme Lord and his sublime pleasure dance. Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, 21 December 1968, Los Angeles.
Shiradhara Sukhe Krishna Jeshu Shiradhara Sukhe Krishna Jeshu Janiba Monete Ami Janiba Monete Radha Pada Chadi Śrī Krishna Sangame Radha Pada Chari Śrī Krishna Sangame Radha Kabhu na hoiba kame Kabhu na hoiba kame Radha pada chhade Śrī Krishna sangame Kabhu na hoiba kame Kabhu na hoiba kame.
Until now, we have simply occupied ourselves in the process of negation, rejecting that which is not. It is true that we do not approve of the fraudulent interpretations propounded by the ācāryas, but then we must also provide the real explanations in place of the condemned ones. The positive element, it is this, must be established. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Kolkata, 17 May 1930.
Without understanding the sadhya, what it is that you are trying to attain, then it will not be possible to ascertain what is the process that you will have to undergo in order to attain that.
And he would not stop. And if you know the goal, then you know which train to get on. You know, if you don't know the goal, you might get on the train to go to Bombay instead of to Vrindavan. You might get on the train to go to Ayodhya. You know, you might end up in Vaikuntha. No, we want to get on the train that's going to Braja Vrindavan, especially Govardhan, especially Radhakund. Like this, at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and her Sakis.
We should make a goal of our life. And I have told again and again, our goal is what? Radha Dasyam.
That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give to the jivas that was never given before for a very, very long time.
Munindra Vrindavandite Triloka Shakaharini Prasanna Vakra Pankaje Nikunja Bhuvilasini Brajendra Bhanunandini Brajendra Sulu Sangate Kada Kalishasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam Nitam Babimbalam Bhumana Pushpa Mekhala Gune Prashastaratna Kinkili Kalapa Madhyamanjule Karindra Shundagandika Varoha Sohagaruke Kada Karishasi Hamam Kripa Kataksha Bhajanam.
O Srimati Radhika, when will you make me the recipient of your merciful sidelong glance?
Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja strongly encouraged devotees to aspire for the gift of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. However, he just as strongly cautioned against imitation.
He also recognized that when you present something so high, there are always going to be people that want to take shortcuts and want to cheat and go around the proper process. And he used to lament about that there will be many Sahajya types, people that will try to spoil the process of bhakti. But still, I have to give this, because if I don't give this understanding, it will be lost in time.
They want cheap, they want to experience that which is meant to be experienced by those who are realized.
who are on the stage of Bhava or Rati or Ashakti. Yeah. They want to experience that without going through the process. Yeah.
Any spiritual development can never stagnate, ever. It's not that I want to be the king in my own little world where I know everything.
He not only revealed that the goal is Radhadasyam, but also gave the procedure, especially from Chaitanya Charitamrita and all the revealed scriptures, how to attain that goal. He explained that no one can attain that supreme goal of life without following the verse Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana karmadya navartam.
You know, Uttama Bhakti, Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana karmadya navartam manukulyena Krishna Shilam Bhakti Uttama.
Continuous ardent endeavor meant exclusively for Sri Krishna and performed out of loving affection for him, when devoid of any selfish ulterior desires and not eclipsed by impersonal knowledge, fruitive work, or any other occupation, is known as Uttama Bhakti. Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Gosvāmī, 1.1.11.
Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja emphasized this verse perhaps more than any other, calling it the barometer of bhakti. By applying the criteria described in this verse, devotees can clearly understand the type of bhakti that our Guru Parampara want us to aspire for, and to gauge our own progress. He expected all his disciples to know the verse's meaning.
And just now, they also discuss about Uttama Bhakti, Anyabhilasita sunyam jnana karmadya navartam anukulyena Krishna anu Shilanam Bhakti Uttama.
That this Uttam Bhakti, or highest, most pure Bhakti, is like an uninterrupted flow of honey which flows towards Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna.
Not for one's own pleasure, but in the service of Krishna.
Which is totally devoid of all desires except the desire to satisfy Krishna. It's Uttama Bhakti, for pure devotional service.
Very good.
One of the words in this verse is Anushilanam. Generally, Anu means continuously, and Shilanam, of course, means endeavor. So the continuous endeavor of the senses in the service of the Lord. But Anu also means under the Anugatya, under the guidance of Sri Guru. So Anushilanam means continual endeavor with the senses in the service of the Lord under the guidance of Sri Guru. Sri Guru, seeing our endeavor, bestows his mercy, which brings us closer to the goal of bhakti.
Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. Backbone. If you will practice the process, gradually your faith towards your Gurudev will come what? Very strong, stronger and strongest.
Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Jive Doya Kori Sapashara Shriya Dhama Sahayavatari Atanta Durlabha Prema Kori Bare Dana Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana.
When we will surrender
and very hankering for that rati, weeping always hankering for the mercy of Krishna and devotees. And when the devotees' heart will be melted, seeing our eagerness and our exercising of bhakti, like Krishna looked towards the efforts of Mother Jashoda and he was melted. We have no taste. How this test will come? If you will follow the rule and regulations of Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, Sanatana Gosvāmī by Chaitanya Mahāprabhu. We should follow. Then test will come. And if you are neglecting everything, not Vaishnava etiquetting, you are falling. How you can hope of Braja Prem?
The whole aim of Krishna consciousness is Radha Dasyam, the divine service of Sri Radha. And offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas make one unfit for such service. Heart of Krishna by Śrī Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. Introduction.
My instruction is of Rupa Goswami that never criticize anyone. Always try to remember the good qualities of Vaishnavas.
And that, I think, for me, has helped me not be judgmental of people. Because if I am really trying to do from my own platform what I can do and can offer, then I can see that everybody's doing the same. And I have no idea their sincerity and their connection and their heart offering. It might look so insignificant or even mundane or tainted with so many material things, but who knows their heart?
You should be very careful about that. Don't criticize devotees or undevotees, anyone. First try to pure yourself, how you are. Is there any lust in you? All kutinati is you or not? Be anxious for that, be worried for that. Don't worry for others. Guru is responsible, Krishna is responsible for that. You cannot do anything, then why you have no right to criticize them? My request is don't be mad to be Manjari. Try to follow Upadeshamrit first. First Upadeshamrit. And then other writings of Rupa Goswami. And gradually come and go to top of Bhakti tree.
This is what he emphasized. He would always emphasize Rupa Raghunath, make your foundation of Upadeshamrita, Vacho Vegam, Manasukroda Vegam, like this. You know, don't try and jump too high, don't imitate, just follow Rupa and Raghunath, what they've said, what they've come to give us.
This isn't just something that's manifesting only in the lives of big personalities or qualified personalities or great devotees. It's something that's manifesting in the lives of very unqualified, ordinary, foolish, fallen, ignorant personalities that this can also touch the lives and transform the lives of someone like me. It is for the most fallen.
We must know that all are not in one stage of bhakti, different. So, if anyone is newfound, he has not even Shraddha, can you tell him that, oh, you are Manjari, this is wrong idea. I want to tell you all, very wrong idea. We should try to follow really what is Rūpānuga.
Śrī Radha Krishna Pada Kamale Mana Kamane Lobibe Charama Sharana Chiradina Koriya Acaranayasa Chiradina Koriya Acaranayasa Ache Bosiya E Adhama Dasha.
Though subject was very high, deep, but now comes up. Gradually it will come some easier, easiest, and then very rasagya it will come. Very rasagya. So you should not be disheartened at oh, so high subject and we are not touching even by mind. So don't be hopeless.
Even the qualification for living out that type of aspiration, maybe thousands of births away, it didn't matter. Still, that the seed of that aspiration was put in our hearts in such a way that we thought, yes, this is something that I aspire for. At least it's something I aspire to aspire for.
Kathamidamapi vanchitum nikrishta.
O Lord and Lady of the afflicted, Śrī Radha Govinda, what chance does this lowly servant have of attaining prem seva to you, which is sought after by high-class devotees? I am completely unfit, but your supreme mercy does not take into account whether one is qualified or not. Therefore, again I indulge in begging you for this rare prem seva. Utkalika Vallari by Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī, verse 40.
Gurudev made it very clear what that goal is and how we need to develop a relationship with the residents of Vrindavan so that we can go there. Not that we go there and then develop a relationship. We develop a relationship first, and that qualifies us to go there.
I personally feel a very good school teacher. He is always seeing something that could happen in the person, not where he is right now. So he sees the potential in the person. And very natural, I had such teachers in school, so naturally one is like flowing in that direction. So I think, especially in spiritual life, it's the same. If I would only get what would be my adhikar, would be my qualification, I would never even be able to grow.
And it doesn't really matter how long it's going to take, this journey of evolution and progress, spiritual progress. Right now is what is important, and that nourishes me so much.
To that extent that someone is fully embracing Mahaprabhu's the service to his Sankirtan movement, to his mission, what comes is in the heart, automatically, from serving Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, Radha Padam Bhoja Sudambu Rasi, the tendency to serve the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and relish and taste the unlimited ocean of nectar of service to her lotus feet.
Those who have taken shelter in the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or his associates, I think one day they will be qualified, certainly. So don't be hopeless. Don't be hopeless. I see everywhere the rays of hope. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, mercy will be upon you.
Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja wanted all devotees, regardless of their qualification, to know the goal of the Rūpānuga Gauḍīya line and to progress steadily toward it. An impeccable sannyasi in the line of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he emphasized the highest goal of the teachings he had inherited from his Gurudev and his Guru Varga. He did so with great care, never speaking highly intimate pastimes or advocating that anyone should act prematurely. He balanced this caution with encouragement for senior devotees and newcomers alike. For centuries, devotees have relished contemplating the 4 reasons for Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's advent. 3 reasons, although esoteric, were not difficult to comprehend. To relish the moods of Srimati Radhika, to distribute Braj Prem through the holy name, and to answer the heartfelt call of Sri Advaita Acharya. Yet, some could not conceive how fallen, Kali Yuga, conditioned souls could even aspire for his gift of Rāgānuga Bhakti, even though this had been delineated by all previous Acharyas. Others took this gift cheaply, not aware of the depth of the process which our Guru Varga outlined. Srila Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja focused on the importance of this reason for Mahaprabhu's descent, emphasizing Srila Rupa Goswami's teaching that sadhan bhakti is practiced with the aim of attaining bhav bhakti. Following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and other acharyas, he acted with confidence in revealing the Sampradaya's esoteric truths. For those who were willing to hear him, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja cleared many misconceptions and established proper conceptions. As a result of this clarity, the nature of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's mercy can be more fully grasped and aspired for. Some had the misconception that Rāgānuga Bhakti sadhan meant abandoning Vaidhi, or regulated bhakti, to perform random acts of devotion based on the whims of the mind, and then calling this spontaneous devotion. Some had the misconception that Rāgānuga Bhakti meant perfected bhakti. They did not understand that it was one of 2 types of sadhan bhakti. Some considered that if an aspiring devotee in the line of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu even thought about Rāgānuga Bhakti, it was a symptom of Prakrita Sahajyaism. And some had the misconception that those in the line of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada did not aspire for Rāgānuga Bhakti sadhan, even though it is so clearly propounded in Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja clarified that sincere practice of the main limbs of Vaidhi Bhakti, such as chanting, hearing, and remembering, is never to be abandoned. As long as an inclination has not awakened for the path of Rag, one should simply carry out the principles of Vaidhi Bhakti with firm faith. In fact, a Rāgānuga Bhakti sadhak practices the limbs of bhakti more steadfastly than the Vaidhi Bhakta. The aspiration to practice Rāgānuga Bhakti descends by the mercy of a Rasik Vaishnav who is truly practicing Rāgānuga Bhakti. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja taught that it is entirely appropriate for fallen Kali Yuga conditioned souls in the line of Śrīla Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur to pray with deep humility and without the slightest pretense for just a drop of desire to perform Rāgānuga Bhakti sadhan to enter their heart, knowing this to be the gift of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu.
So this is the topmost of Siddhant in any history, in any Vedic literature. I know that you cannot understand, but even something will come. If anyone is taking bath, all water is going down, but something goes in and refresh the body. On similar, whether I am telling and you are not understanding fully, but something will come and it will lead to attack. It will be a treasure for you for future. So for this, you should be very bold and strong and try to follow my old teachings. These are not my teachings. These teachings are for my Gurudev, Guru Padma. Go Premanande.
In this way, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's dearmost emissaries have carried these priceless gifts through the centuries to the present day. His representatives work conjointly to establish his transcendental, all-merciful mission. Our deepening appreciation for Srimad Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada.
Krishna kīrtana gāna nartana Prabhu Premamritam vanidhi Veera Veera jana priya priya karo Nema karam pujito Śrī Caitanya Kripa bharau bhuvi bhuva bhara vahan tarak Vande Rūpa sanatana raghujugo Śrī Jīva Gopālaka Vande Rūpa sanatana raghujugo Śrī Jīva Gopālaka Krishna
I am remembering when I met him, how I heard him, how my first meeting, how sannyas, how serving him, and last meeting, and I served him in Vrindavan, as if some riddles are going on. He was a very bosom friend of my Gurudev. He was a bona fide Guru Nishtha. Guru Nishtha, always internally and outwardly serving his holy master. He has not anything to do for himself, only to carry the order of his holy master and to serve Radha Krishna and Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu.
He said many times, on his first tours especially, that if Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj had not come, then it would not be possible for me at all to come and speak these things.
How can we appreciate the glory of Radha unless we first appreciate the glory of Krishna? If Krishna, a part of a part of a part of a part of him, is Mahavishnu, who breathes in and out innumerable universe, falls at her feet, and his peacock feather falls at her feet, then we can understand her greatness. So it's important to understand the greatness of Krishna first. So Srila Prabhupada laid the groundworks, but he not only laid the groundworks, in his books he gave also the rasic pastimes and information.
There were many disciples that had been chanting at that point for 25, even some for 30 years. They had been chanting, practicing the regulative principles, reading the books, and becoming more and more acquainted.
Many of us had read the books of Srila Prabhupada and other ācāryas, and yet, at least I can only speak for myself, some things I had just missed. Not that they weren't there, not that even Srila Prabhupada didn't say them, because they're there in his, especially in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Especially chapter 4 of the Adi Leela, which is all about Srimati Radhika's moods and the gopis' moods, and why did Mahaprabhu descend and take the moods and complexion of Srimati Radhika, what were his reasons for coming, all these things.
My experience is that virtually nothing that Gurudev said differs from what Prabhupada taught. Everything is there in Prabhupada's books.
Swamiji has written everything.
Ever since I joined Krishna consciousness in 1966, I'd been hearing classes from God brothers and God sisters, reading a purport, reading a verse from him, and then explaining it. So I'd been hearing explanations of what Prabhupada said or wrote. So similarly, Srila Gurudev explained Srila Prabhupada, but in such a way, such a profound way, that I'd never heard before, that brought out the depths of Prabhupada's meaning that was overwhelming. A person gives a commentary on a book that he reveres. Isn't it a great glorification of Srila Prabhupada that Srila Gurudev traveled around the world bringing out the glory of Srila Prabhupada's message by giving commentary?
After meeting Gurudev, the words on the pages of Prabhupada's purports just began to dance. It was just... And so much more meaning was there in Prabhupada's books. And as for how it affected my spiritual life, well, everything jumped up. My rounds became more focused. I immediately wanted to chant more rounds. And Prabhupada's books, I just developed a thirst for them. I just practically couldn't stop reading them.
Ramma kachid upasana brajavadhu varga bhija kulpita. There is no more bitter worship than what was conceived by the gopis. So gopis are the topmost devotees. And amongst the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the topmost. Therefore, Srimati Radharani is greater than Krishna. So this is Gauḍīya Vaishnava philosophy. It requires time.
This Mahamantra is separation mode, Vipralambha bhav. And I think our Prabhupada, that is Swamiji, has completed this desire to give in whole world this thing.
Our gratitude to Sri Srimad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja.
Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sarira. 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 Hari Hari bolite na yane babenira. Hari Hari bolite na yane babenira.
The truth of Mahaprabhu and this noble, great personality, ācāryas, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, has actually delineated this in such a sweet, powerful, colorful, sensitive way, taking us right into the very heart of what is rasa.
In our Sampradaya, actually all ācāryas has came down in this planet to teach this, but no one openly told all these things so clearly and so easily.
So Gurudev said that I have to do this. If I don't do it, then they will say that, oh, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada did not give this.
He would sometimes say, as did Śrīla Gauḍīya Maharaj, I'm speaking maybe for one or two people, but if this conception's not given, then it will be lost to the world. So I think Gurudev was willing to risk his own personal reputation. He was willing to risk everything to make sure that these conceptions are never lost to the world.
Bhaktivedānta Thakur is telling, বলিব এখন যাহা তাহা এই ভয় প্রতিষ্ঠা সা পাছে দুষ্ট করে. He's telling that I'm going to tell something, to write something. But I'm fearing, like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. When he was writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was fearing. It is so high class that very rare persons are qualified to read this. So, what should I do? I should not write. But again he thought, if I am not writing all these things, then what will be? It will
disappear from this world.
This world, these things.
And one time I was in Siliguri and Gurudev was with a lot of very senior qualified people were in an assembly there, and he asked me just to stand up and say, what is the goal of Krishna consciousness? What is the goal of my life? And when I stood up and said to become a maidservant of Srimati Radharani, he became so pleased, like a father's pleased with a small child. And part of that is also to show that, look how this mood, it's coming and it's manifesting. There's no obstacle to where it can manifest.
He's not just giving words we can read, words we can hear many places. But it's the words from the heart of such a devotee, they change the samskaras we have in every word. And his absorption is transmitted through his words. And actually it creates a complete new set of samskaras in the very same words. And then we hear from him, and suddenly it makes it real. Suddenly it makes it tangible. And by that, a very new world of dedication is being born in a soul.
In morning walks, they would all cluster around Gurudev because he's the embodiment of that gift. Yeah. It may not be that in language, like we can communicate in spoken language with each other, but that is not the complete way to communicate. Yeah. Devotees were naturally attracted always.
I could experience in my heart that there was a reality, something that it was given that was so profound and so powerful that I couldn't even understand. So it gave me so much faith that he's here and this is such an opportunity and I don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
I remember praying, I want to hear from him. I was sort of praying to Prabhupada and Krishna, I want to hear from Nārāyaṇa Maharaj because I think he can help me.
Gurudev, mercy is, Trawar is mercy everywhere, but I cannot properly accept. I pray Gurudev, I can feeling your mercy on my heart. Not only one time, how many times you are told why Chaitanya Mahāprabhu fell in this world.
I feel like Srila Gurudev is given such hope, but even the word hope has a different meaning since I've known Gurudev. It's a hope that comes with everything, with all the tools, with all the strength.
Never once did I even see the remotest, slightest slip up. He was the most solid, dependable, absolutely perfect example that I could have ever hoped to meet with in my life.
I've observed in Srila Gurudev's traveling and being with him that he is always overflowing with that gift that Chaitanya Mahāprabhu came to give. Every conversation or every lecture he would always end with that specific message or donation that we have to identify ourselves with Vrindavan, especially with the mood of those who are in the line of Rupa Gosvāmī.
Mercifully kept me 31 years when I joined 79. Still from that day, still his last breath he kept me. I have seen everything with him, how he's doing bhajan, Sankhapur Nam Gan, and so many Stav Stuti, and doing pranam, what Das Goswami has showing us. He showed us in his literature, Gurudev doing this. Raghunath Das Goswami, topmost Rūpānuga Vaishnava, and Gurudev following him exclusively.
I'm filled with gratitude every day, having had the fortune to have heard and received these teachings from the divine heart of my most beloved Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja.
Dear Srila Gurudev, we humbly offer you this film, presenting some of your teachings, just as one worships the Ganges with her own water. We pray you forgive any error made in our attempt to share the pristine Tattva Siddhant of our Śrī Rūpānuga Guru Varga that you so munificently delivered to us all.